And welcome back to the week of Who Would Win. This Who Would Win comes to us from Winter Ghost, who asked the question, who would win the fight? Travis Touchdown from the No More Hero franchise versus Samuel Rodriguez, aka Jetstream, or Sam Jetstream, from the Metal Gear Solid universe. Both game series I have never personally played, though I did see, with the Nintendo Direct last week, the trailer for the new No More Heroes, and I'm like, honestly, this looks like a game I might play. It's coming to the Switch, so I'm like, I can see myself playing this, so maybe I'll pick it up. But so let's go with Travis Touchdown first. He is the protagonist anti-hero of the No More Heroes franchise. He was introduced as a 27-year-old American assassin and stereotypical otaku, the motel room decorated with professional wrestling, video games, anime, and manga collectibles, living in near poverty in the motel No More Heroes. Accompanied by his kitten, Jean, most likely named after his lost love. He apparently has a interest in lucha libre, video games, Japanese pro wrestling icons, and anime, and his favorite being a mo-driven anime series called Pure White Lover Bizarre Jelly. But that being said, he is the main protagonist of the video game series. He's actually extremely strong, capable, very durable, but that they even argue in the wiki. It's like he's the main protagonist of the game. He's going to be extremely durable. But he can dodge bullets. He can even take a serious amount of gunfire exposed to the face and generally be unharmed. He does end up getting a lot of different upgrades throughout his throughout the games, including something called Dark Side Mode, by lining up 3 objects in a slot machine minigame after executing a death blow. Each trance of Dark Side Mode entails Travis with. That's a weird sentence phrase, wouldn't you mean? Embodies or imbues Travis with superhuman strength, speed, invincibility, and other powers. His bread and butter weapon, however, is his laser katana. They even specify, not to be confused with a lightsaber, for it is not. Travis uses a beam katana, not to be confused with a lightsaber, because unlike a lightsaber, which is just beam, it's clear this actually is more it's a sword with a metal rod and 2 connectors, and then the beam is actually created between those 2 vectors. Travis won the weapon on an online auction, originally bidding on it and not expecting it to be real, but instead winning weapon, the beam katana can be set to high or low frequencies, and after being used too much, his batteries will need to be recharged, so he has to rely on his hand-to-hand combat abilities. The weapon has been upgraded several times, if I'm not mistaken. His final model so far, I believe, is the Tsubaki Mark III. If I'm not mistaken, Tsubaki Mark III is Mark II and Mark III. Yeah, it's honestly the most advanced looking because it seems to be the only one that's kind of the closest you can get to a lightsaber. Whereas the standard Tsubaki was, as I said, a handle, a rod, and 2 connecting points, and then the beam is created there, so you're using that beam to cut. The Tsubaki Mark II, honestly, it looked more like a flail or a mace. I think flail is the right term. More like almost like a bludgeoning weapon, with just having to have the light blades on there. But the Mark III is definitely the one that resembles a lightsaber the most, but it still suffers from Tsubaki is the completed Tsubaki beam katana model. It's designed based on that of the beam katana of his mentor Thunder Ryu, acquired by Travis during the death of Thunder God Ryu. Unlike his predecessor, it does not feature an extractable frame and is one of the only recognizable beam katanas to emit properly without a receiver, meaning obviously it acts like a lightsaber, but it's not a lightsaber. It's not as strong. However, it's not as strong as the Mark II. It's faster and therefore it has greater damage per second. Once designed by Dr. Nomi, sells for about, almost $500,000, no problem. So yeah, he also, he's solid in hand-to-hand combat. He does have some qualms about fighting women, but in this case he's not fighting a woman, so it's all good. And that's pretty much Travis Touchdown. Sam Rodriguez is another member of the Metal Gear Solid cast. Now, at first, before I read up on him, I'm like, okay, so this guy's basically like Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, where he's pretty much a cyborg. But actually, what it turns out is the only part of him that's really, truly cybernetic is his right arm. He did lose the right arm. What actually is going on with him is that he's wearing an exosuit that just enhances his strength, durability, speed, and agility as a means of matching other cyborgs. He was capable of going toe-to-toe with someone like Raiden in hand-to-hand combat and handling him very well. He's actually capable of analyzing people's personalities and skills pretty easily and working that to his advantage, taunting and whatnot. He wields, like Raiden, a Muramasa, his HF Muramasa blade, basically a high-frequency vibration blade, which can cut through most things pretty easy. Also, his sheath also contains a rifle mechanism. Basically, his sheath is also a gun. Now, I should note that this guy did, in fact, die to Sam, or to Raiden. I believe it was, it eventually delivered the sword to Raiden as he was Armstrong's mercy. If I'm not mistaken, he later had a final duel with Raiden with the blade of Wolf bearing witness. He was killed by Raiden in the balance by a swift stab through the torso, following an immense battle. Prior to his duel, the Ultimate confided in Blade Wolf, wondering whether or not his actions were right or whatever. So basically, yes, he is dead. He was killed by Raiden. Raiden was a superior fighter. And Raiden pronunciation. I think it's Raiden. I'm going Raiden just to keep them separate from the Mortal Kombat character. But yeah, he's not as overall skilled as Raiden, but he was skilled enough to give someone like Raiden a solid run for his money for a while in certain instances. But ultimately, Raiden proved to be the superior. But he can pretty much do everything Raiden can do, but just on a lesser scale. That's pretty much it. Because unlike Raiden, who is mostly cybernetic, what he's wearing is an exosuit. There's the key difference. He does have a cybernetic arm, but that's it. So these two meet in a fight. Who's coming out on top? Is the beam katana, first off, going to cut through or be too much for the high frequency blade, or is it the other way around? I think because both of them do have different settings, I think they're going to be able to counter each other pretty well. So they'll treat each other mostly like swords and blades. The question quickly becomes when these two, start, swapping, shooting the shit and swapping, insults back and forth. Who's going to be the more likely to F up? One is both are assassins, both are mercs in many ways. Both are probably comparable to each other because in the games we can tell that Travis, at least from what I can find, can take a solid amount of damage and punishment, and Sam is not capable of delivering the same amount of damage as someone like a Raiden could, which, using some death battle numbers real quick, again, I only use them when I feel they're actually right. Raiden was able to throw megatons of force behind his blade, where it's clear that Sam is not quite as capable as Raiden is. But still, I should note that he isn't without his abilities, certainly, or without his feats. These two it's probably going to be a pretty even fight, I'd imagine. Honestly, I think what's also ultimately going to come down to, though, is the fact that because the high frequency blade is just a blade, it's not really good for tricking an enemy. It's a blade. Whereas the Tsubaki Mark III, on the other hand, it actually is capable of retracting. It is in essence kind of a lightsaber. And apparently it is powerful and potentially far-reaching blade, meaning it could possibly extend beyond its actual length. And it's much lighter than its previous model, so it can deliver more shots per second, which means Raiden can do a cool trick, especially when you have a retractable weapon, where you come in for the final slice. As long as you can avoid it, you retract the blade and then come in again and hit. And I think, honestly, because I think these guys are pretty comparable to each other otherwise, from what I can tell. Again, from what I can tell. Again, as someone who's never played these games, take everything I say with a huge grain of salt. But from the information I can find, they're pretty comparable physically overall, but their weapons are so different. I think honestly it's the weapons that that's going to give one of them the advantage. I think it's Travis's weapon. Again, they're retracting and then quickly, reactivating and then just landing the strike on Sam might be enough to win in the fight. In my mind, I'm probably going to give it to Travis. While Sam's armor does give him a lot better durability overall, Travis has enough durability that even if he got hit by some blades, he probably would actually be okay to walk it off a little bit. So after any serious injury like decapitation, obviously that's death, but stabbing through the chest, all that we'd have to worry about him at that point. But if he can take a lot of gunfire and some explosives without too much damage, have higher grit forms where that he gains certain levels of invincibility, then yeah, I would say I'd give this to Travis, ultimately. But who do you think would win? Travis Touchdown or Sam Jetstream, or Jetstream Sam, as he's actually known by? Let me know in the comments below. At least, hold on. I want to be sure that I got that right. It's Sam Rodriguez, but his nickname, yeah, Jetstream Sam. That's Sam Jetstream. He was also known as Minano. Anyway. So who do you think would win? Travis Touchdown or Jetstream Sam. You know, I think it's the flow of the word Jetstream and then going into Sam that makes that actually pretty difficult to say after consecutively saying Travis Touchdown, Jetstream Sam. Okay, I got that one time. Anywho, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll do it at some point. Ideas for who would win Star Wars, Superhero Magic, who would win anything I do in the channel. Let me know. Put it in the comments below. And I'll put it in the books. They're all in the books. You know, I'll take this moment, because it just take maybe a few minutes here. I get a lot of people who, you know, will constantly ask for the same thing over and over again. It's like, please do this, please do this. Like, that's fine, you know, whatever. I get it. You're very passionate. You like what I do, and you want my opinion on it. And I've had other people say, please respond. It's like, I can't respond to everything, guys. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Furthermore, you know, I got one person lately who's been like, and here I'm still waiting for this one. It's like, first off, it will come eventually, guys. But who would win is kind of like first come, first serve kind of thing. But unfortunately for a lot of the newer people, you have to realize you guys weren't here first. I have an order in which people's names have shown up in the books, and that's the order it goes. And with more people being added, it just, you know, it's going to take longer to get through things. Because I want to respect everyone who is giving me a who would win suggestion and what if suggestion. But that said, I don't think that it won't come. It will come. It's just going to take a while. It could take years, but eventually I'll get through them all. Or I won't, because people will keep giving me suggestions. And that's fine. It keeps the channel going. Anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to, because I've been noticing that a little bit now, and it's kind of been, I wouldn't say bugging me, but it's kind of been, like, rattling around my brain. It's like, I should address it. Like, don't worry, guys. They're going to come. Just be patient. And I like the fact, too, that said person, I'm not going to name the person, because that's not, I'm never going to name a viewer who is, you know, being a little, not being, what's the best word, is doing something that gets my attention, unless they're giving me, like, a really cool suggestion or something like that. Like, you realize you also have I think you have, like, 20 other suggestions you've given me, too, but that's specifically the one you want? I mean, yeah, so, anyway, I digress. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to just address real quick? Let's see here. The Nine-Tailed Fox is not universal. Compositing Godzilla makes no sense because, honestly, there are certain versions of Godzilla that are just so drastically different that makes no freaking sense whatsoever. Because, like, Godzilla Earth, Shin Godzilla are drastically different from a composited version otherwise. Because the rest of, like, Heisei, Legendary, Showa era, Millennium, those ones you could actually kind of composite them into one. Shin and Godzilla Earth are too drastically different to composite. Last one. Oh, there's apparently a version of Godzilla that may be theoretically multiversal. However, that is a strictly game version of Godzilla that I'm not going to be using. The reason for that is it's not part of any proper canon of Godzilla. Even Shin is in the canon of Shin Godzilla. Godzilla Earth, canon Godzilla Earth. All the other Godzillas have their proper canon, but that's just a video game. So, yes, I know I just did a video game who would win, but you get my point where it's like the actual character exists within a culture and lore, all that. I'm not going to take a random Godzilla out of a game and do that. I'm not going to do that. And further goes to any other character like that. I'm sure there's other things I could bring up, but that's it for right now. I got to prepare my what if next, because this is pre-recorded, obviously. You can tell I'm in my room and, all that. But regardless, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you later, folks.